And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Peach State Power Hour. I agree. The only objective sports fan. Let's roll.
Let's roll.
It's my fault. It's my fault. I take the fall. Sorry.
He
We're here
did.
now.
He blamed his dog at first, and then his internet decided to crap out on him.
I'll blame
Everything
both. Thank you very much.
about tonight's start is on Eddie.
I bet Raheem Morris could probably do a Zoom call. I mean, I'm just saying.
Raheem Morris can start on time. But anyways, gentlemen, welcome back. It's a Monday evening, not our usual evening, but we had to make do, had some schedule arrangements. Yes, I take the blame. I came back from Starkville, immediately went to cover basketball. Eddie also had we were originally planning on doing a show Sunday night, and then Eddie had a schedule conflict. So we moved it to Monday, which is cool with me because that means I get to talk to the boys. But in any case, better late than never. And we are here with the Peach State Power Hour. Gentlemen, what a weekend.
Yeah.
Another great weekend in the books of college football. Georgia went down to Starkville, to the land of cowbells, and dominated.
Yeah.
First time all year I can kind of say that about a SEC game for Georgia outside of Kentucky.
Yeah.
41-21, 20-point win. You had over 300 yards on the ground. I mean, this was as close as it gets to, quote, vintage Georgia on Saturday.
Scored 38 unanswered points at one time, right? So, I mean, that is, and the running game. You talk about vintage Georgia, especially in the Kirby Smart era, is running the ball, playing good defense, and playing pass and play action on the offense. Like it was vintage Georgia football, and a lot of people that were saying trap game. Georgia was supposed to be scared. Hey, they went down there and took care of business, and now we got a big one coming up Saturday night. So this is a Texas team's going to come in looking for blood. They know their back's against the wall.
Eddie?
I think Eddie might have.
We've already lost Eddie.
Yeah, we didn't. There you go. What's up? You're back.
Man.
You're back.
Right, he's back.
I got a full signal here. I don't know what's going on, but there's so much you can say about what we saw Saturday. And I think the biggest takeaway for me is this is a different team than what we saw open up against Marshall. They have improved vastly over that time period. And we could talk about everything that happened. I know we're going to break down parts of the game. Zachariah Branch is a beast. The offensive line is mauling people. The tight ends are incredible right now. The defense is starting to figure things out, stopping people.
Well, Eddie, they improved from the Florida game to last week.
Yeah,
that's what, because the Florida game was a struggle. And
I agree. But I want to talk about one person, Coach Kirby Smart. He's the greatest coach in the world. Okay, he is in college football. What he did pregame, Harrison, I know you know this because you listen closely to the press conferences, but this was like a Pee Wee League game starting at 11 a.m. And that's what these young kids are used to when they played in middle school, right? So he contacted the moms and had them compile videos of them, the coaches, et cetera, talking about these games to these kids. And he played it before the game. And he said it was very emotional, got the kids ready to go. The guy is the ultimate motivator, okay? And then he goes out there, and what does he do during the game? This is how incredible he is. He runs a punt team on 4th and 3. No, then he runs them off, runs the offense on, and Levy's like, timeout. I don't know what's going on here. And then he does it again.
After a timeout, yes.
After the timeout. And Levy looked like a child. And they jumped off sides, 4th and 3, and we get a first down. He's the best coach of all time. With everything that's going on in college football, people firing people left and right. There's coaches out on. This guy is he's amazing what he comes up with and how he motivates his team to play in these types of games. It's incredible to me how good he is.
Well, like Garrett Key had mentioned, that was kind of what they did to us in Notre Dame. They did that run-on, run-off thing. He mentioned that. Yeah, Kirby mentioned it. And Kirby's not too proud to say, hey, that worked. I'll try it. It's like he's
Well,
yeah, he's the man.
That's the other thing. He learned from that, put it in the back of his mind, brought it forward in this game, and said, "Hey, this is a good opportunity to use something that was used against me," and he used it to perfection. So he's getting better as time goes on. Not only the team.
What's up with your name tonight?
I did it wrong. I thought I wrote smarter. I don't know why it's dumber. It's just been it's one of those nights, man.
I wondered why it said dumber then.
I know.
Like,
I wrote smarter.
I was like, I know Eddie is not a fan of Raheem, but I was like, whatever.
All right, we'll just go with dumber because it's funny. I mean, because I am dumb, right?
Here's Taylor.
Can't be early to the show tonight. We were usually like 15 minutes early, but Eddie was like 4 minutes.
I know, I blew it.
Harrison, you said you were down at Starkville for the game?
I was. Although I ended up spending more time in Birmingham because that's where our hotel was. But I mean, look, if you think of the SEC, I feel like Starkville's like the image, the old school image. Just nothing like farmland. Mississippi as a whole is everything you'd envision Mississippi was. Like just vast land out there. Not even feels like you're not even driving into civilization. You're just out there in the middle of nowhere for a while.
Dark Vegas, baby, right?
Yeah. And y'all saw it. I put some videos out there over the weekend. It wasn't very crowded. Like, not a lot of people at the game. Definitely wasn't a sellout. A lot of empty seats. But I'll give them credit. That atmosphere was electric nonetheless. They did it old school. They had their artificial noisemakers. They were calling the cows. And it made for a nice environment. Open air press box. It was nice to hear and feel like you're at the game. That's been awesome. I'm going to give them credit. Incredible atmosphere, fun time. Starkville has a fan in me. Now, I don't know how often I want to make that trip just because it's so far out there compared to an Auburn or a Tuscaloosa. But hey, they do a good job. And with that, let's talk about this game. Let's break it down. Despite Eddie's lateness, I'm prepared today. I'm always prepared.
Yes.
So
wait a minute. I'm prepared. I mean, I just ran a little late. I'm always prepared. Don't give me.
If you were prepared, you would not have been late.
Here we go. I mean, can we drop it and talk about the game? I'm tired of talking about it.
Look, I'm trying. But anyways, all right. Let's get into let's talk about players of the game first. We'll go players of the game, and then we'll go into our plays of the game. I had 3 candidates for play of the game, just in full transparency here.
There's a lot of guys that could do it.
Yeah. But it came down. I was like, oh no, I got to put that one number 1. But anyways, players of the game.
Did you do the obvious one, Harrison, or did you go off because we can explain that? Did you?
I don't know what. I don't know.
I wrote it in the notes.
No, I did not take the obvious one for player of
the
the game.
Okay, so let's just put that out there then. I mean, Nate Frazier is the obvious one, right? The guy just dominated the football game with 180 plus yards.
Yeah, I was hoping he was going to get 200. Yeah, I really wanted
I did too. But I mean, that's the obvious one. So we went a little deeper than that. That's all.
But how about, before we get into it, how about the running back? Like we're getting that 2-head monster, and like you saw it last week, it was Bowens was kind of the guy. And even though he got the start this week, and I think the week before, Frazier got the start, and Bowens was kind of the guy. So it's a little weird how they're doing. But like, I'm getting some of these like, I ain't gonna put anybody.
I know
on
what you're gonna say.
Nick Chubb and Sony Michel and Todd Gurley. Like, I'm not saying that, but it's like you're feeling that kind of 1-2 punch, and it's like, and even with 3 years ago, you had Cook, and it's just like these guys are like, they're dudes and they're getting better. And, last week I was like, Bowens has got to be the guy. And then they said, hold on, watch Nate Frazier this week. So it's fun watching that 1-2 punch, and both are very like excellent halfbacks.
And let's don't discount Peanut. He's this close to breaking a long one. I mean, he's going to break one.
Kirby mentioned it too. He said if it wasn't for him, he said a missed block, he said he was gone. So Edwards and McIntosh. I'm not saying they're Chubb and Michelle, who, I mean, come on, that's all timers, but you know what I'm saying? Those guys are, but now I do think that I would say that Chauncey Bowens is better than, and I would say Chauncey Bowens is probably better than both of those guys, but I'm with you, dude. Yeah. Great comparison.
And real quick, let's go ahead and put open, I guess, with this before we get into the next player of the game. I want to send out thoughts and condolences to the family of Kim Allen. Obviously, she passed away. Somebody who was close with the team. It was
Did you know her,
inspiring.
Harrison?
I had never met her,
Okay.
but I had heard stories, obviously, from players about her, and I believe Roddy had talked about her a little bit. I don't know if it was on the postgame overreaction show, but I know he talked about her a little bit today. Thoughts and prayers to her family. It was heartwarming to hear the stories of the impact she had on this team, particularly Nate Frazier.
Yeah, Frazier was big.
This is somebody who wasn't on staff with the football team. It was just somebody who worked for the university, for the athletic association. And the one thing they always, everyone talked about is how you couldn't have a bad day when she was around. Thoughts and condolences to her. I can't imagine what that's like right now. But it's been awesome to hear that story in terms of the impact she had on all these people in that building day in and day out. She, by far, is obviously a player of the game here, just to see the impact she had on these players. So,
good call there, Harrison.
Yeah, I wanted to. I meant to do that at the top of the show, but since we're talking about players of the game, I was like, hey, she was definitely one of them because that was a big part of the story on Saturday. Andy, who'd you have for player of the game, or should I say players?
I went with players because there's quite a little bit of a rotation on those guys. The offensive line, because y'all know after that Tennessee game, I was very down on the offensive line, and then a couple weeks ago versus Florida, I was like, it doesn't look as good, but my God, that offensive line. It looks night and day difference from where it was this time last year and at the beginning of the year this year. And Marshmud, I see that comment. I was going to get to that as well. You're right. Like outside of that one little call, but yes, you use Bowens there because you got those big offensive linemen that's just making holes, and Bowens would have probably walked in. But yeah, my players of the game is the offensive line because Gunner was standing in the pocket. He had all day to throw. There was holes big enough that maybe we could have fell through at that, sometime of them. But yeah, the offensive line, definitely my guys this week. They look really good. Give a shout out to Coach Searles and all the guys, like we have 5 offensive line coaches right now. So yeah, shout out to all those guys and those players. They're growing up. They're getting better every week. And you see it when they're just where they're at today. Just think where they may be, say, I don't know, first round of the playoffs. They may be really good at that point. So it's looking good.
So it's Stacey Searles,
Stacey Searles. Give him a shout out.
Stowe.
No, I'm not on there.
And Eddie from Acworth? Are those the 5? Is that the 5?
That's the 5, yeah. So.
John Deere Green, I haven't seen the comments tonight. I expect to see at some point. Same thing with Paul Mahary. Yeah, I'm sorry, Gary Holt. Blame Eddie from Acworth.
There's 2 people to blame. 2. No, there's 2 for the day late. Harrison and me.
All right.
I've been sick for 3-4 days, and I was powering through, and these yahoos are like, no, we're not going to do it, blah, blah, blah.
Eddie, real quick.
And you know what? I'll tell y'all what the family commitment was during the Falcons segment. So go ahead, Harrison.
Okay.
I was just about to give you a runway to shout that out if you want to take it now, or we can do it later.
Do it later. Let's keep talking about the dogs.
All right. Yeah. Eddie, I'm gonna go next because I really like your pick, and I want to give that like the main event spotlight.
Okay.
But I want to go here, and it's not really just because of the game he had, but it's been the progression over several weeks. And we got to touch on it last week. I mean, guys, Gunner Stockton, decisive with the football. It's night and day different. I don't see a guy that is scared to pull the trigger. I don't see a guy that is Eddie, listen up, late on throws. This guy is on time, and it's making for a much better product on offense. We're talking about an offense that is number 1 in the nation in FEI. And when you talk to these guys week to week, they talk about how Gunner leads this team. And I think Oscar Delp said it, there's nobody else in the building that they want leading this team than Gunner Stockton. I was just impressed. And it's not just the execution and the efficiency of the offense, but guys, there's several throws he's making that are, I'll say it. I don't know. I'm not saying he's an NFL prospect by any means, but he's making some NFL throws. That pass up the middle to Oscar Delp on the deep over was a seed, an absolute seed.
It was.
That guy's playing incredible football, and it's crazy that we're at a point in time in Georgia football, Kirby Smart history, where the first thing people talk about the strength of a Georgia team is its offense, and Gunner Stockton is a big, big reason why.
Well, Harrison, you say that, and he is the second quarterback to go over 300 yards rushing, and since 1987 or something, it was him and DJ Shockley. Him and DJ Shockley. But also you talk about looking down the field. Look at the play he made to Noah Thomas when he gets the touchdown. Before he's just going to take off and go get 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 yards or whatever. He's looking up. He sees Thomas come wide open. Next thing you know, you got a touchdown. So yeah, he's getting better every week. That's the thing. The whole team is. So,
and look, I'm coming out and say I had plenty of questions after the first few games on him. I was concerned a little bit because somebody, I believe it was one of y'all on this show, were questioning, hey, is he looking at the coverage or is he looking at the receivers? Like, is he processing what's going on? Because we saw it. There were some throws just like, man, why didn't you go here with the ball? Your eyes are in the right spot, but you're not pulling the trigger. I haven't seen that. I think from the Kentucky game on, when he threw that pick, he's been a different quarterback.
Do you think it's sort of just let him go ahead?
I'm sorry. Just think about when he came on board in the Texas game last year and he threw that horrible pick. You remember that? It almost cost him the game.
Yeah.
And we were like, this is what we're going to see a lot of next year. And he's done none of that. He is really, really good with the football. He's careful. And compare that to what we watched yesterday with comfortableness in the pocket, him versus Michael Penix. Gunner is comfortable and knows how to work a pocket. Michael Penix does not. Now, you can blame that on the Falcons overall. It's a different topic, but yeah, I think partly. But Gunner's just comfortable and he can feel pressure. There was one throw, he got absolutely blasted the second. I don't remember exactly what it was, but he just got rid of it and just got blasted right after that. He can just feel that stuff around him. And I think if he played Notre Dame now, he would not have been blasted and fumbled that ball. We'd probably win that game now, I think. That's a great call, Harrison. I was that close to picking him too.
It was him, and that was the first one I started at, and I was looking on the defense, and there were several guys on defense that have been playing incredible.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wanted to come on and acknowledge, like, this guy's proven me wrong. He's playing at a really high level, and when we talk about this game this coming weekend, he's going to be a big part of the reason why this game could come down to where it goes. Eddie, what do you got?
Yeah, Chris, I see what Chris Taylor wrote. No, it wasn't that play. I know what you're talking about, Chris, on the TD pass, right? But it was another play before that he got rid of it. He was in the pocket. But anyway, I'm going to go with Oscar Delp. And I'll be honest and upfront about this. For the past year and a half, I hadn't been that big of a number 4 fan.
Yeah,
maybe it's because
you've been very down on him. Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe it's because I'm expecting him to be like 19 right after he left. And we know that's not possible, right? So that's partly my fault. But first TD catch of the year right there. And what are we in game 8? Have you ever heard him say a word, I need the ball more? He never says a word to anybody. Even the coaches say it. He never says a word. But in that 12 personnel, he is constantly, this attaches to your player of the game, Andy, the offensive line. That guy in the 12 personnel is a huge blocker. He's gotten better at that. And then downfield, oh my goodness, he is just blowing people up. Every time there's a play around the edge, number 4 somewhere picking somebody up. He is really, that's his best game of the year. Maybe the best game of his
career
Saturday. Yeah. And I am really, I apologize I've met him in person. Great kid. Sorry, Oscar. I doubted you and I shouldn't have. That was a hell of a football game he played. Without much on the stat sheet, with really not much on the stat sheet.
There was a play today, Eddie, that he was talking about on one of the Frazier touchdown runs. I believe it might have been the 59-yard run where I guess somebody noticed the first thing Kirby did was point at Oscar Delp and say, like, hey, that was you. That was you.
Yep.
And I was trying to find it. I couldn't find it in time for today's show, but I was like, man, if I could find that, that'd be kind of cool to go with it.
Delp mentioned that in the press conference today. He was talking about how cool that was, that he was the first one Kirby acknowledged on that run because he blew his guy up and allowed Frazier to go by him. So
I tell you what, that they ran counter like the national championship Georgia teams did. And it was beautiful to watch. They absolutely mauled Mississippi State in counter. It was awesome. I mean, these guys are playing with violence up front. The tight ends at the point of attack have been a strength. And I was glad to hear for Georgia's sake that lost, and also for the person Lawson Lucky's and the family he has, that it wasn't as serious as it looked.
That looked
he
scary.
took that hit. He went face down, face mask into the dirt, and I don't think he moved until he got the training staff out there. I was like, oh man, like that. This
when he
could
sat
be
up,
really, really
I was
serious.
like, good. When he sat up though, I was like, good. It's not a neck injury because that's the first thing you fear, right? But obviously I think he got knocked out, didn't he, Harrison?
Yeah, he got knocked.
I would be surprised if he wasn't unconscious.
He was unconscious because you saw how his body was just kind of limp. And then
so what does that mean? What does that mean? Not to get too much off topic. What does that mean going into this game? They talk about concussion protocol. Is that up to the Georgia doctor staff, our staff? Is it a league thing, conference thing, football thing? What?
Georgia will put him. I don't know if he is in concussion protocol because I guess his mom went out on Twitter, social media on Saturday and said that he's fine. That she went and talked to him and all that. He's fine. And then Kirby said
he didn't have a concussion. I mean, you can be fine after a concussion.
Yeah. Well, and then Kirby said today, Kirby made it seem like he's good. So
yeah.
I was asking somebody today who's a little bit more knowledgeable than I am on that, like how often can you get knocked out and not have a concussion? It's not 1-for-1, but yeah, you can get knocked unconscious and be fine and not have a concussion.
Yeah.
So I was surprised to hear that.
Yeah, you can.
They're one and the same. I didn't know that.
I did too. I assumed if you get knocked unconscious, you probably have a concussion.
That was a concussion.
Apparently not.
Yeah.
Nope. No, you can be knocked out without a concussion. Yeah, and you can have a concussion without being knocked out. So, yeah. But I do want, before we move on, we want to talk about Gunnar Stockton. So he was in the 2022 recruiting class. They had number 1 overall was Drew Aller. Number 2 was Cade Klubnik. Number 3 was Connor Wigman. Number 4 was Ty Simpson. 5 was Devin Brown. 6 was Walker Howard. And then 7 was Gunnar Stockton. He's better than all of them, maybe not Ty Simpson. I mean, that's pretty impressive. That's if you re-rank them right now, I'm looking at the list. He's better than everyone that I see on the list in the top 25 outside of Ty Simpson. That's impressive for a dude from a small town, North Georgia, doing what he's doing and sat for 2 years as well. So that's impressive. So.
But I mean, he was no schlub. Everybody tends to forget he broke Trevor Lawrence's record in high school. I don't care that he was at a smaller school. I mean, as Pete Rose said, even the chicken bleep league, that's tough to do, right? I mean, the guy's a legit quarterback. So
yeah, he's legit. Yeah.
I did see Rod Robinson warming up on Saturday. Saw him in person. Running back's tough right now at Georgia. I don't know if he's fully healthy, to be quite honest with you, so I'm not sure. But with Georgia's rotation of backs, if he's healthy,
more Bo Walker than we did him,
And how about Bo Walker? Bo Walker looks like a dude. Like he looks good. But you talk about Roderick, McCray's kind of taking that spot that he was going to be, and McCray's great at it. So you can't pull McCray out. So I don't know.
Note here from Super Goat Dog. He was on punt team. I didn't realize that. Good eyes, Super Dog. I didn't even notice that. That's why we have the comments here. They help us out with stuff like that. All right, let's hit player of the game. I saw a play of the game. Sorry.
Play of the game. Yeah, play of the game. Yeah.
Andy, I saw a comment that goes kind of hand in hand. So I'm gonna let you say your play of the game. And then we have a request for Eddie to talk about something, which kind of goes hand in hand with it.
Perfect. My play of the game was when KJ Bolden got the defensive holding on Anthony Evans in the first quarter, because I said, watching it live, I was like, maybe he wouldn't have caught the ball. I don't know, but let's assume he would have caught it and went and got a touchdown, which most people think he would have. If he did, they go 14-3. And instead we stop them. Then they end up having to, they fumbled the ball 3 plays later or whatever. We got it and scored, and we go up 10-7. And of course we scored the 38 unanswered. So that was huge. Like if that doesn't happen, 14-3 scary down there with all that crazy cowbells and all that. So to me, that was my play of the game. That's when all the momentum changed.
I think they train him to do that, right? Because obviously in college, it's not a spot foul like it is in the NFL.
10 yards.
Yeah. So in my mind, they should change that rule and be more like the NFL and make it a spot foul.
I agree.
I think they should do that, and I think they will eventually. But yeah, I mean, if you're getting beat like that, you just grab the guy and throw him to the ground. Who cares? Take the penalty and move on, like you said, Andy. So that's a great call. I like that call.
Yeah.
Eddie, tell me about
who was it that asked Marshmud? Okay, there he is. all I said today on Shanks' show was that, and you heard of Harrison, you were there live, is how KJ was talking about. I think he was asked about why do something or other, correct me if I'm wrong, about players going to other schools from Georgia and this kind of thing. And he basically summed it up and said, you are going to get no better training, improvement in your football game to get to the next level than you will here at the University of Georgia. I'm paraphrasing, but I mean, he said, this is why you come to this school, because I mean, look at KJ Bolden. He's gotten better. How many players can we say, and the proof's in the pudding with the draft, et cetera, the way Kirby gets these guys through the program and they come out and look like rock stars when they started as maybe 3 stars, right?
Well, you hear NFL coaches and execs talking about that. They're like, yeah, we want those guys that are learning from Kirby Smart. That's right. Yeah.
So I love KJ saying that, and he may be talking to some, he was kind of not the first one, but he was one of the biggest Buford guys that's come out and actually committed to Georgia. It seems like we always lost Buford guys to other schools, and he's probably the biggest name we've gotten. Maybe some other Buford kids are like, he's got a point here. We need to really look at Georgia now. I loved it.
Emphasis on Buford kids, huh?
Well, they got a hell of a program.
Damn. Sheesh. Oh my!
Hey, congratulations! You look young this week, Eddie.
Football Paul, that's got to be Paul Maharry.
That is Paul Maharry.
What a jerk!
I'm gonna give my play of the game, and then we'll go to Eddie. And it's not so much the player that made the play. That is the reason I put it. It's more so just the context of the play. The 64-yard touchdown to Noah Thomas. Now look. Noah Thomas, incredible play, made I think 2 or 3 people miss, broke a tackle or 2. Incredible. But for me, Georgia had run that similar play, which the rollback screen, and I think Gunner said it's the third option. He's the third option. And I don't know how many times, because there's some plays where you have a third option, but it's like one of those options where it's like you're never going to throw that ball. You're just never going to throw it. Like it's like a clear out route. You're never going to throw the clear out. Very rarely will you ever throw a clear out route on a dagger concept, which is a post and a go route, or no, a dig and a go route. You're never going to throw the go route. I don't know how often that ball gets thrown, but the fact that, and that's one of those ones where we're talking in the past, in the first few weeks of the season, you're like, man, hit that ball, throw that ball. You're looking at it, your eyes are right there. He ripped the trigger this weekend, and it made for a massive, massive play. And it couldn't happen to a better guy in terms of somebody that team has been praising for not being selfish, for not saying, hey, I need the ball more, but he's been doing his job anyways. So shout out to both those guys. That been waiting to see some explosives in the passing game. That wasn't a screen pass.
Well, how big is that for Noah Thomas as well, though? I mean, his confidence. I mean, he needs some of that.
We finally got to see some of that speed that Brent Rollins has been telling us about on tape.
He's moving down the field. I mean, that's
not to take away from his run. That was incredible. But look on that replay, who is downfield looking for a man, finding somebody to block, number 1. And he's the first one, Zachariah Branch, to meet him in the end zone and celebrate the touchdown. That's the kind of stuff I love to see right there. Selfless football.
Do you know who the first person in the end zone to meet Nate Frazier on the 59-yard touchdown run? Did anyone see that?
I can't remember. Oh, wait. Was it Chauncey?
It was Gunner Stockton.
It was Gunner.
Gunner Stockton ran all the way down the field to go see him. And someone asked the post game, hey, why'd you do that? And he's like, well, I didn't have anyone to block. So
that's fantastic. All right.
That's great.
Oh, man.
Eddie, take it away. What's your play?
All right, my play of the game is it's second quarter, and we just exchanged fumbles. Andy mentioned that. Remember, Bell had a bad fumble there. By the way, shout out to Auburn. We can fumble on the goal line and still win the football game, but that's another story.
That's another story.
So Bell had fumbled, and then they get the ball back, and then that play happened. You described, Andy, and then we caused the fumble. I think who was it? Q caused that fumble. I think it was on the quarterback.
Montavious,
we get the ball, and by the way, it's 7-3, so the game's still in the balance. Okay.
Yeah.
We end up on their 28, and it's 3rd and 11. And Gunner throws the ball up to big Ellis Williams.
Yeah.
I mean, that circus catch was ridiculous. And he lands with his butt in bounds. Huge play to set up on the 4-yard line. But look at him again on the 4-yard line, who is blowing up somebody to get Chauncey Bowens in the end zone. Him, Ellis Williams. That guy, he's just a monster. And Kirby even said it in the presser today. He said, this guy was on scout team. He kept watching him say, we got to get this guy going. And he said, I don't want to lose him. Meaning he knows this guy's good. Get him on the field. We don't want this kid to transfer. We need him. And man, is he good. My goodness.
Yeah. They got some good players in that tight end room.
I can't wait to see him catch a ball in the open field and just start running over people. That
kind of like it's like Big O running down the field.
Yes, I'm dying to see that. Right, he's just going to kill people.
Yeah. I'm with you, Scott Anderson. I didn't think that was a fumble, but in the world of needing indisputable evidence, you can't overturn the call. So I see why they didn't, and the indisputable context in this whole debate has helped Georgia out this year too.
We saw it versus Florida with the Florida, because that's the thing. Auburn. The Auburn, we're getting. I thought that his knee was down. I thought his knee was or his shin was down before the ball started moving. But again, you're splitting hairs, and it's one of those if it was called on the field. So it helped us last week versus Florida. It didn't help us this week but it is what it is. So
you hate it happened, but you know what? It didn't freaking matter.
It didn't matter because we said, okay, that's fine. We can handle this. Yeah. So we're like you said, we're not Auburn, we're not Florida. So cry about it. So
all right, boys. Well, let's talk about the big game this weekend. Top 10 matchup between the hedges.
SEC Nation is coming in town, so yeah, it's going to be big.
Game day. That's the second time this. I thought
Georgia was
going to have game day three times this year. They're going to Pitt, Notre Dame.
Pitt, Notre Dame. Yeah.
Pitt, Notre Dame. Come on, that's pathetic.
Yeah,
I was.
They got to slobber all over Notre Dame, don't they? That's what they're doing. So
I was convinced at the beginning of this year Georgia would have game day like 2 times at least. And it's looking like you're only going to have them once.
If Texas only had one loss, they would be in Athens.
That's a good point, Andy. So we blame Texas on this one, right?
Yeah.
Blame Clark.
And when we kick them out of the playoffs this week, that's all of it.
So. There you go.
Boys, how do you feel about this game? Obviously, Andy already gave us the hint. Like, Andy's confident. But what's the general feeling on this game? Because I've been looking at both boards. Been looking at the dog vent. I've been looking at Inside Texas. They're both confident. Now, there are a mix of what I would say the rational, realistic people in terms of like, hey, I'm not just saying they're going to win because they're my team, but like, hey, both sides I've seen have the patches of people that are like, yeah, this scares me a little bit. Like this specific matchup scares me a little bit. This is an interesting matchup. Like Georgia's weakness has been its defense. And they have not played up to the standard of past defenses. For Texas, their weakness has been their offense.
Yeah.
And it looks like over the last 2 games, maybe they're starting to put things together. They have a new starting 5 up front, a new combination of the offensive line that really played well versus Vanderbilt. And now they're going to have to go against a Georgia defensive line that hasn't been able to get after the passer. So where's the initial thoughts on this game for y'all?
Well, I'm looking at it from the other side. Texas has the number 2 ranked rushing defense in college football. They're only behind Texas Tech. They have the number 1 ranked sack defense tied with Texas Tech in college football at 34 sacks. So what's our strength right now? It looks like our running game, our offensive line is a big strength for us. So can we run the ball? Because if we can run the ball on them, we're going to have a good day. So that's, I think our rushing offense versus their rushing defense is going to be the biggest part of the game. And that's where I'm looking at. That's a little, that gives you a little scare, but I think we'll be able to run the ball. And I think Gunner will probably play a big role in our running game this weekend. So.
Well, it's hard not to look at this game with confidence as a Georgia fan after beating them twice last year, right? That's in the back of our minds. I know those games are completely meaningless. Kirby yelled at a reporter today. It wasn't Harrison, by the way, who brought that up because they're 2 totally different teams. It was Ewers versus Beck. I know some of it was Gunner, but the teams are totally different. So that's what gives me a little confidence. I know that's silly, but I'm a fan, kind of like we have their number type of thing. Andy's right about the defense we're going up against, but are they better than Florida? Are they better than some of the other defenses we've already seen? I don't know. The thing that gives me confidence, though, you mentioned a little bit Harrison, is this offensive line. They have not done a good job protecting Manning, and he's been running for his life. And I think if we can start feasting on that, causing Manning some issues, some things he's reading wrong, because he has not had a good year. I mean, he's been more down than up, right?
Yeah, yes,
and 7:30 in Athens and Sanford Stadium, this place is going to be electric. And it's going to be a tough atmosphere to play in. So that's why I give us the edge. I was surprised the spread was as high as it is. I was thinking like 3.5 to 4.
Yeah, 6.5 right now.
I think
6.5.
I was surprised that high, but I feel good about this. You know, I know their backs are against the wall, but you know what? Ours are too. We have to win the football game. I mean, in this game, and it makes the Tech game kind of irrelevant. I mean, I hate to say that, but you know what I'm saying when it comes to the playoffs. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So they know what's at stake here.
Yeah, both teams do. And Chris Taylor, I saw you post about their who they played. So they did hold OSU Ohio State to 14-7. So that, but then they beat San Jose State, whatever, UTEP, whatever, and some, I don't know who the heck that is. They beat Florida, or they lost to Florida 29-21. And then Oklahoma kind of smoked them. They barely beat Kentucky, barely beat Mississippi State, barely beat Vanderbilt. So yeah, I mean, they're, you know, it's not like they're playing a murderer's row, and we've been playing elite level offenses with Ole Miss.
There's some barely beats on our schedule too, though.
Andy. There are, but when they've played the good teams, like when we play the good teams, we step up. Now we are when we play some of the lesser teams, we're whatever. But when we're playing Ole Miss and Alabama, we're out there scoring left and right, just like they are. So, Chris Taylor, I think you're right. I just wanted to say their stats just to throw it out there. But with that said, if we want to throw a little game prediction, I think the Dogs are going to have a very good night. I think we're kicking them out of the playoffs come Saturday night, and I think we're going to win by double digits. I think we're going to hurt.
You're going, right, Andy? Andy, you're going?
I'm not going. No, James Caraway. Okay. James Caraway is going to be there.
I know James is going. I thought you were going.
From San Diego. He's coming into Sanford Stadium with Garrett Key, so it's going to be awesome. We're going, But
is Garrett Key wearing pants?
No, Garrett Key don't wear pants. He
certainly not right now.
Yeah. But yeah, my prediction is Georgia takes care of business, and true, smarter than Raheem. But yeah, I think Georgia takes care of business. I think we win somewhere in the 30-20 range, 34-24. You know, I think we win by double digits.
So is this another game I can sit back and relax and not have my blood pressure go through the roof again?
Well, I think the first quarter is going to go up. But I think we break them. we will break them midway through the third quarter. Yeah. You're talking about 3 and 33.
It'll be high until then. Okay.
3 and 33 are going to go nuts, and you're going to see Gunner run some read options, and he's going to take off and get us some yards. And I think we're going to break them. I just think they.
What if they? Let me ask you guys a question. What if they do bottle up this running game somewhat, and it kind of falls on Gunner's shoulders? How do you guys feel about that without the threat of a run?
All right. Well, Harrison, I'll piggyback off of that. So let's say they do. So that means they're going to have 7-8 guys in the box, 1-on-1 with Branch, with Thomas, with Delp. I like it. What about you, Harrison? I think they can make plays. I think we could go. Heck, Gunner's thrown over 300 yards a couple of times this year. I think he could torch them if he had to. So.
It's the threat of that. It's the threat of that play action, though. You know, that's the thing.
Well, if they're throwing guys, I mean, if they bring 7 or 8 guys down in the box and he's got 1-on-1, we'll go. So
yeah.
Here's the stat that we talk about their run defense. They've been really good. You look at their passing defense this season versus SEC competition. They're ranked 12th in the SEC. Last week, going into this weekend, they were 15th. And obviously, these teams played some games, so they moved up. But it wasn't because of their own doing.
This is only conference play, right?
This is only conference play.
Okay.
They're ranked 235.3. Or they're allowing 235.3 on the ground or through the air in conference play. Ranked number 12th in the SEC. Georgia, which I was shocked here.
Yeah.
Only at 210, and you're at 8.
That's pretty impressive.
Texas had some struggles with the secondary. Obviously, Michael Taft, I think, missed 2 games with an injury. That's their All-American safety. Yeah. It sounds like he's playing. Shocking news this weekend. He practiced this morning, according to Steve Sarkisian. So they're getting some reinforcements in the back end, but it's kind of similar. Both sides have struggled in terms of their secondary. The difference between these two defenses is Texas has number 3 in sacks this season. They have 35 sacks. 34. Insane amount of sacks. They got 2. Well, they got 1 All-American edge rusher in Colin Simmons, and they got a couple other guys that are also really good players. I think Ethan Burke has having a really good year for them. Georgia now obviously played them last year with an offensive line I don't think was as good as this one. And Georgia got the better of them up front in these games, even
Moving
against
around.
their pass rush.
Mhm.
So I think there should be some confidence in that. But when you talk about the matchup of, hey, Georgia's game records last year in this matchup was its front 7.
Yeah.
Georgia doesn't have the front 7 lean anymore. Texas does. But here's the difference. Gunnar Stockton's a run threat and can run the football. He's going to hold the backside edge rushers in this. Any give call, anything where it's an option to pull it, they're going to have to respect that. And you saw the troubles it gave them in this championship. I like this part of the matchup. And in terms to answer your question, Andy, if Georgia is not able to run the football as well as it maybe could, you should feel better as Georgia fans seeing the growth Gunnar has shown over these last few weeks, because it's been in these games, in these situations where they're down and they need touchdowns, and it's on him to get them a score. He's played at his best in the clutch moments. He may not play well to start the game, but as you get further into the game, as Kirby said the other week, he plays better.
He does.
For me, that's, I think, the biggest point of confidence for me with this team going into this weekend is you got a dude at quarterback. And you got some dudes on offense. Eddie, what do you say?
What's your prediction, Eddie?
My prediction? God, I hadn't even really thought that far ahead. I don't know that I'm ready to predict the game quite yet.
He was late. He's not prepared for the show. Come on, Andy.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Harrison, can you drop something, boy?
Smarter than
a little scab. He's just picking at it. You know, it's just unbelievable.
If it was last week, he'd be dropping all over the place.
Okay, well, don't give me a score prediction, but a prediction for the game. Georgia wins or Georgia loses?
No, I think Georgia wins. Georgia wins. And I think that the factors of them being at home, night game, and Georgia's got just as much on the line. Well, not as much because Texas is fighting for their lives. I understand that. And guess who the edge I give to also is on the sidelines? Kirby Smart.
Yeah, come on. Right? Yeah, Sark's drunk. So, Kirby is going.
Come on, Andy.
He's on the sauce. But
from what I've watched, Texas' biggest adjustment on offense over the last few weeks has been they're going more in the quick game, more in the screen game.
They are.
And that's the one thing Georgia's been really good at taking away over the years. If that's what their game plan will be to try and hit Georgia in the quick game and the screen game, I don't think it's going to go particularly well for them.
Our linebacker was a feast on that.
Oh, yeah.
And Georgia was really good at dealing with the window dressing last year, and anything horizontal they tried to do, Georgia shut down. So I don't think you're going to be creating many explosives on this defense that way. Now, where they win this game is, and I don't know if Texas will, and I think that could be the difference. Texas needs to be prepared to run Arch Manning probably 10 times this game. Designed runs.
It's going to have to be.
And I don't know if they will. I don't know if they have the stomach. I don't know if that's what they want to do.
Remember the concussion 2 weeks ago as well. So you even saw last week when they played, they were not even touching his head. Like his team was like, good job, but they were like, no, don't touch his head. Yeah.
No kidding. I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, they weren't touching
that either.
Yeah. So
look at Andy.
Whatever. Whatever. I watch football, whatever. Y'all don't. That's okay.
Harrison, you brought up the linebackers. I just want to point this out. How about Zayden Walker getting some playing time? And it was not garbage time. He was in crucial parts of the game. A freshman playing with these other linebackers. I thought that was impressive. That shows you how hard this kid has worked. It's great to see.
Good shout. A lot of freshmen getting on the field this year. It means just
Dink.
My
boy Dink got out there.
Just something to notice, something to file away in terms of when we're talking about the future of this program.
You have to, because with NIL and you've got to have guys ready at every position, because case in point, look at all of our tight ends. What if they say, you know what, let's I don't know, hypothetically say Florida State calls and says, hey, you're the number 2 at Georgia. We'll give you X amount of money. So screw it, I'm out, and go to be the 1. You got to have the next guy up. Yeah. So you have to, you can't you can't let these guys sit now. That changed with NIL and the transfer portal. There's no more of that. So,
all right, gentlemen, 40 minutes in Georgia, and we still got 3 seconds.
So let's do it.
So let's go ahead and get into it. Whew! I saved some comments about this next segment about the Falcons. First, let's address this. Scott Anderson, no, we had to move it. This is a one-time only. I say one-time only. Like,
we should have said that up front.
You will have another Peach State Power in 6 days on Sunday back at their normal time slot, assuming we don't have any conflicts. I don't know of any, so we should be back. But let's talk about the Falcons. Gentlemen, 3-6 on the season. Yeah, it's kind of over.
Did you watch the game? I don't. I mean,
no, I was busy. I was covering basketball. I was driving back from riding back from Starkville. So no, I watched none of it.
I watched the whole game, and like I said, I'm homesick. Yeah, so I didn't go to church. So I stayed. I was like, I don't want to get people sick. So I figured I would make myself even more sick. They have potential. Like you got one of the best wide receivers in the game in Drake London. You got a 2-headed monster in halfback. You got Bijan, who's great. But then your quarterback he's not so good. And I don't know if it's his fault, if it's the coaching fault. But then, Eddie, I know you want to talk about that excellent that timeout that they just come up with. But like it's that's right, Bedside Baptist, baby. They're not. You'll see them do things and think, oh, okay, this is going to be good. And then like, nope, they screw it up. It's just so bad. It's got to be a wholesale change, and Blank has got to stop meddling and telling them what to do. Because if not, we're going to see the same thing. We talked about it at the beginning of the year. I said they're going to be in the 7-10, 8-9, 9-8 range. They're going to draft in that same area. And that's what's going to happen. I mean, I don't even get upset about it really anymore because it's just sad. It's just sad. So
Alex is right. I mean, I'd rather be talking dogs basketball, but we got to talk about the Falcons briefly, right? So I'm with you, Harrison. I had an event to go to. My son's movie premiere was showing in downtown Atlanta. So I was in the car. I did not turn the game on, did not watch 1 second. I looked at the score while we were watching another movie before his movie came on, saw that we lost in overtime. I hated the movie that was being shown. It wasn't my son's. I watched the 16-minute recap and just laughed at it. And I was just like, this is so – it's not only that they lose, Andy. It's that
how they do
it. Every time they lose, you can open up the record book and say, hey, look, they broke yet another record. You know, I don't remember something, the amount of fumbles they cause or something, and teams don't lose those type of games. Whatever. It's always the Falcons on the wrong side of history. And
I did say that.
Andy, you said it. I'm going to yell at you for saying it. Arthur Blank is the problem. He's just hang on. You say he can't meddle anymore. He's been doing it his whole time he's on the team.
And Alex, I did say they would be 0-5, but I said halfway through they would be like I had counted them 3 wins halfway through, and that's where they're at. I mean, so I was wrong about 0-5. But
we played the Panthers. Somebody said, I think it was Chris Taylor, we got to go 3-0 the next 3 games. I don't know the order. I think we play the Panthers, the Saints, and the Jets. Is that right? Something like that. 3 bad teams. Okay. What in any of your minds makes you think, oh yeah, this team's got the next 3 games? No problem.
Yeah.
They lost Panthers, 30-0 to the Panthers, who just lost to the Saints. Yeah. I'll put it out there right now. I bet the Saints beat us. They are garbage. They are a terrible team, but they want this game because this is their Super Bowl, much like Florida against Georgia. I bet the Saints beat us.
I think so too.
Watch Justin Fields have a field day against us with the Jets. He's been horrible all year. That's what they'll do. They're the get-right team. Why are we talking about them? I agree. Let's talk about Georgia basketball. I'm so freaking tired of this team. Hate them.
Well, hang on. Before we move on, let me ask you one question. Let's say they lose this week to the Panthers. Does Raheem get fired?
No. Should.
I don't think so.
But no.
Okay. So let's say they lose the next week. Let's say they lose the next 2 weeks. Does he get fired? If they lose to the Panthers and to the Saints to be 3-8, is he gone?
I don't think so, and here's why. Because that admits to the world that Rich McKay lied to everybody and said Raheem Morris is the best man for the job. And we all knew he wasn't. but they're admitting that they made a mistake. That's why I think he goes through the whole year, and they'll win a few games, Andy, and it'll be enough.
Oh, they will. They'll clip somebody they shouldn't clip. Yeah.
I heard today a reporter who's involved with the Falcons said they have their little get together with the GM and blank and all this crap, and they do a Zoom meeting. You know who spoke for 7 minutes? Rich McKay, who's not supposed to be involved. And you know what he said? We're this close to being a good team. That's what they think. They think they're this close to being a legit football team. And they're in their warped minds think, oh, we're just a couple plays away or maybe a timeout away, and we're going to get this thing right. They're never going to learn, ever.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on before we start going down that road. Georgia basketball.
Out of my head right there.
I do, and that's why I'm saving you. Man, that team's fun to watch, and I get it. Yeah. Haven't really been challenged yet, so all of this could obviously change. But when you watch the transition from last year to this year, this team's playing up tempo. They're playing a different style from the past. And they're playing, I think they only have like 3 or 4 players that were on the team last year. And I think only maybe 1 or 2 of them actually played meaningful minutes for the team last year. But Georgia has some playmakers. Like, this offense has been fun to watch. It's been high tempo. They've been moving the ball around. I don't think there's just one, like, they're not just playing through one player. At times last year, it was Asa or it was Demery. Mm-hmm. And outside of that, you kind of stalled out. But this year, so far, they're going through anybody and everybody. I will say, last night, it was Jeremiah Wilkinson's night. And that's, I would have loved to see what Georgia looked like last year if they had a true point guard. And Wilkinson may very well be that true point guard for him. That kid's incredible. Highlight junior. Jake Wilkins has been amazing. That windmill.
Yeah,
boy, that's crazy. That was ridiculous.
Everybody in the press row just jaw dropped. Incredible.
That wasn't a dribble down the floor and get your momentum. He did it on the fly. That's what was incredible. It was a lob to him. He caught the ball in the air and then did a windmill. That was incredible. That was just amazing. But Harrison, I mean, you wrote about it. By the way, another reason to subscribe to UGA Sports, to read Harrison's great stuff online. He does a great job covering this team. What is it, Harrison? 1990 was the last time we scored. The last time we scored.
1997.
Oh, okay. I was saying 120. I think we scored 124 or something in 90 or something like that. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's been a long time since they scored that many points. And I look back where everybody's saying, well, wait till we get to conference play. You can't read too much in it. I agree. We're not there. We don't know what this team really is. But I look back at their first 3 games last year. They weren't blowing teams out like this. What did we win by, like 65 the other night? We were not doing that last year. And we really, until this past game, have not been shooting the 3 very well, you know, and we did on Sunday and we bombed them. But I mean, like you said, Harrison, they're fun to watch and they're deep. That's the difference.
Appreciate the good words from my friend Eddie and also Chris Taylor. I'm going to be there kind of throughout the year. Dash is the full-time beat reporter for basketball. He does amazing work. There is full coverage of UGA Sports, not just football, but basketball, baseball, you name it, full-time. Dash doesn't take days off. Very rarely. That guy's at any and every sporting event for Georgia basketball, baseball, and football. Full coverage over at UJSports.com. As Eddie said, make sure you go subscribe. You can get your first week for $1 as a bonus. Your membership includes a complimentary year of The Athletic. We appreciate Roddy and the guys for allowing us to do this show each and every week. Gentlemen, and to answer the question, I think they beat Tech, and not only do they beat them, I think they're going to handle them.
Really? Okay.
I do. I mean, like Jermaine King said, Tech was taken to the limit by Maryland Eastern Shore in their opener. Georgia obviously beat that team pretty handily. Georgia should handle Tech. It shouldn't be close. Like, Georgia should win this game, and it's their first real challenge of sorts, and I don't know if it will be much of a challenge, but I think Georgia wins on Saturday. I think they should handle Tech.
Friday night.
Yeah, on Friday night at the Stag. Kirby was already promoting it on Monday. Yeah. Well, I guess today.
I'm gonna be there. I'm going. I think Andy, are you just going to dinner? Or
I'm just going to dinner. I'm not going to the game.
Garrett Key will be there with us. JC's in town. Paul's gonna be with us. My wife's gonna perform. Y'all come watch my wife perform at halftime. It's gonna be great. A lot of fun. Night before the Texas game.
You can go hang out with the Peach State Power minus Andy Stowe.
That's right.
That's pretty cool.
I'll be at dinner. I just won't be at the game.
Yeah, and Harrison, you're invited to dinner. You have to buy if you come, but
Eddie's buying. Eddie's buying for everyone. Grindhouse.
Probably would buy. Hey,
Grindhouse.
Just make sure Eddie doesn't piss off the people making the food.
Chris Taylor, Grindhouse.
Make sure.
Yeah.
So, anyways, last segment. The Atlanta Braves have a new manager.
How about that?
I can't believe, because it feels like Walt Weiss was hired like a month ago, but it's just last week. But look, initially, lackluster. Initially was like, man, that's underwhelming.
Yeah.
Then you see what they're doing, and they're surrounding him with guys who are supposed to be really smart, really good at what they do. And I'm starting to see the vision here, Eddie and Andy.
Yeah.
I'm like, they're doing what they did with Snit in the first few years. Go get some smart guys, some smart baseball minds, some great teachers, and put them around. Put them around them. I'm not comparing these guys to Ron Washington and Eric Young, who, by the way, Eric Young Sr., if that's the bench coach, tremendous staff. Go find you a damn hitting coach, and we're in business, boys. I love it. I'm excited. I'm really excited because not only does it seem like they're putting good staff into place, and look, we talked about it in our group chat. Manager be damned. It doesn't matter if they don't add to the roster. And hearing the reports from 680 that Terry McGurk told investors to expect $100 million in payroll to be top 3 in baseball in payroll this year, if that happens, tremendous offseason. Won't find complaints from me.
You know, there's rumors that they're looking at Bichette to play shortstop. Now that's, maybe a pipe dream. I don't know, but if you add him and I saw Paul got on here and talked about Drake Baldwin winning Rookie of the Year, so that's huge.
Yep.
But
don't give that man a shout out. He's already left us for his damn TV show.
He probably did. But if they were to get Bichette, I mean, that's a big get because we need a legit shortstop. Now, given a lot can happen, but they're saying they're wanting to be top 5 in payroll. And I did listen to Walt Weiss. He was on Bill Shank's show last Friday, I think. And it was a really good interview with Bill. And he talked about like Bill, because, Bill had written an article saying that the Braves way was dead. And Chris Taylor, Dylan Cease is a guy that they're talking about.
Yeah, but, that's every season.
It is, but he talked about the Braves way is dead. But then you got Weiss. But Weiss is to me sort of like a hybrid Braves way, because he was with a ton of other coaches throughout his career, and he talked about that on that interview with Bill Shank. So if y'all didn't listen or hear that, go back and check on Bill's website on the superstations.com. Shout out. And because it was a good interview, but he talked about, I'm not going to be the same coach that Brian Snitker was. He was like, I'm different. He's like, I have learned from him, but I'm not him. I'm going to do different things. I'm going to do different things than Bobby Cox. I'm going to do different things. He mentioned all the managers he worked with. So at first I was like, man, this kind of sucks. But now, kind of excited about it. I'm excited about the staff that they're adding, and hopefully, if you got 50 or 60 or $70 million to add some players, then you might have a good baseball team. So I'm kind of looking forward to spring training already.
Well, Andy, did you predict this? Because I know I did. I said it was going to be Walt Weiss.
I thought they would go. I thought it was a done deal that it was going to be Danny Lehman. I just thought
I wanted David Ross. Excuse me. I said Danny and David Ross. That was me. But I said all along it's going to be Walt Weiss because it's the easy thing to do, and it's just the next guy up.
I was convinced it was not going to be Walt with how long it took.
Me too.
I was just convinced.
Yeah, well, that's right. The longer it went, I thought you were right, Harrison. But the more I've listened to Walt Weiss, what you said, Andy, the more roster turnover we're seeing on the coaching staff, right? Yeah. They're bringing in guys, like you said, that are different voices, different analysts, if you want to call them that, whatever. But Walt kind of bristled when Shanks asked him about that, that you're Snitker part 2. He really did. He kind of bristled about it because he said, my personality is totally different than Snitker. Snitker's the image of calm in the dugout, and Walt is not that way. I think what we're going to see is if somebody gets brushed back or whatever, Walt Weiss can be the first one out there, whereas Snit would have never even moved. So that's something probably new, right? Because he said Snit kept Walt at bay a lot of the time, but he bristled at that and said, I'm going to do things my way, the things that
Yeah,
I've
he did.
learned from my previous coaching stints, managerial and otherwise. So I'm more excited about it now than I was when it was first announced.
Me too.
And one more thing I'll point out that he made a great point on that I hadn't thought about is the continuity thing. And he said he experienced this when he came on board with the Rockies. Now, the Rockies were kind of a mess. You can't judge him on that. But he said it took a year to learn the guys, to learn the clubhouse. He doesn't need to learn anything. This team knows him, loves him for the most part. He knows this team. He knows the players, their ins and outs. There's not going to be a year adjustment period for this guy. He's ready to go from day one. And I like that. Oh, and by the way, Ronald Acuna apparently loves this guy. I think that's big. I don't know that he and Snitker, well, Snitker, how do you see eye to eye with a 73 versus a 20-year-old kid? I'm exaggerating. He's older than that, but you know what I mean? And I'm hearing that Acuna just
I mean, Eddie don't see eye to eye all the time.
That's right.
60 years old versus 20.
Yeah, because I'm 85 and Harrison's 14. So there you go.
All right. You took some years off my age, but you were correct on your own. So I'll give you credit. At least
he took some years off of his age as well. So he dropped.
Anyway, I'm looking forward to it, but I will be more excited if they make a couple moves in the offseason that need to be done. Shortstop and a starting pitcher. If they do
and
that,
a closer. You got to get a closer too. You got to get a closer and a setup guy.
I'm being conservative, right? I mean,
you got to get 4. You got to get 4 guys. You have to get 4.
But I'd like to see it. Bo Bichette, I would be thrilled if we got something like that, you know. Yeah, but I don't see it. It's going to be these middling guys, and that's what they always seem to do. But maybe Walt has more of a voice in that than we think. I don't know.
Yeah,
I've been seeing some people speculate with the Mets pitching coach coming over to Atlanta that maybe the Braves take a run at Edwin Diaz as a closer, which could you imagine?
That would be awesome.
I don't know. We'll see. That's a lot.
I didn't think about that.
Imagine,
that's a good point, though, Harrison. That's a good point.
Can you imagine if the Trumpets are playing for Edwin and not William Contreras?
Yeah, that's right.
Be quite hey, maybe next week on next week's show we'll do our dream free agency for the Braves versus our realistic prediction free agency for the Braves. Maybe that's a fun segment.
Too early? I don't know. It's going to be a lot of Texas talk next week, right?
Yeah,
maybe you're right. Maybe not next week. Maybe the week after next.
Yeah, maybe once we
get Alex Page asked about the high school update. We skipped it because there's no games Friday. We're going to do it next week when there are actual games being played. Yeah. Playoffs start Friday night. They may start Thursday, actually. But
I think
cool.
And maybe
I'm sorry, Go Dog.
Yeah, maybe we can get Bill on one to talk with us. So
I'm sorry, Go Dog. We set the show notes up in advance of the show. So usually any last minute additions are made before the show, not during the show. We had a tight schedule. We are the Peach State Power. So even when they suck, we have to put them on here because that's what the show's been branded.
Right.
But yeah, anyways. All right, gentlemen, Sunday, 7:30, back at the regular time slot. I cannot promise that Eddie will be on time. See you next week.